Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, here with a disgruntled Matthew to talk about the challenge, season 39, part 1 of the final, episode 18. Matthew, you didn't enjoy this episode.
I liked it as much as I like every other part 1 of finals, which is about as little as I can like any episode of TV.
And why is that?
I mean, I don't really care to watch people standing at checkpoints waiting for people to walk to checkpoints. So yeah, it just doesn't really interest me when like you take like the strategy and like the drama and the entertainment out of the game. It's just like becomes like watching Ninja Warriors but like even worse than that, because it's just like random like competitions. It's like just watching Survivor challenges only.
True.
Where it's like, yeah, anyone can kind of win and it's kind of fluky, and like if there was like a little bit more strategy to it, maybe I'd like it more. But yeah, I don't really love that. And then like what I was saying before we hopped on, like the worst part about a 1-part final is you can't like look back on the season as a whole because you don't know how it ends. So it's just like this like no man's land where it's like, really, like we couldn't have just had a 2-hour episode here where we like, did we need to see them reading their letters from home instead of just seeing the last stage of the final, which could have been the same 30 minutes that we had at the beginning? So to me, it's like just like so pointless to do 2 episodes just to drag it out.
And like 18 is such a better number than 19. Like, come on,
yeah, it gives 18. If you want to do a 2-part reunion, ends at 20. Now, like we're just getting like 21. Like it's gonna be a 2-part reunion, I'm sure too. And it's going to be the same thing where like part 1 of the reunion will be good. It'll end on a cliffhanger. And then there'll be like 5 good minutes of part 2 of the reunion. And then it's just going to be like, oh, here, look back on Berna's fight with Melissa from week 4. It's like, right, I'm kind of over that by now.
Was that week 4?
Probably. It's around then, week 4 or 5.
5 months ago.
Yeah.
We do have some friends joining us here. And sorry, everybody, I'm just in London in my hotel room. So this is why my angle's kind of off and, timing's kind of off as well. But we wanted to make sure that we at least talked about this episode, even though there wasn't that much to talk about. But Dudley is here. Hello. Dabu, Deuces J, happy about this. We'll definitely talk about that, I'm assuming. Have to agree here, Eunice, that Colleen is absolutely annoying. Definitely. And I have to agree here. Do you disagree with any of these statements? Colleen being annoying, Eunice being happy that Jay went home, and Natalie never wanting to see Berna again. Are these all true statements?
I wouldn't say I'm like necessarily like overly annoyed by Colleen. I just think she's more like completely irrelevant, which like is bad in its own way. Cause like, at least if you're annoying, like you make an impression, which I would say like Berna is very annoying. But like when I look back on this season, like a year from now, I will probably forget that Colleen was even on the season. And that's like super sad considering like she's in the final 6 now.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Berna, like I will remember that Berna was here because like she is very annoying. I think it's like the what did they say? The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. And
that's
like
true.
For Colleen, I'm just like very indifferent on her. And honestly, like if she wasn't like extremely attractive, like she would have like nothing on this season. And like probably wouldn't have been asked back to begin with. I realistically, like Colleen and Berna are never coming back. Jay will be back, but like Jay, like yeah, happy he's gone for sure.
Definitely agree there. Okay, we're gonna get to that, but yes, the best moment was Corey to be told being quieter. Yes. Okay, well, let's just talk about the episode. So we start off with them at the club, if you remember from last week, where we see TJ walking in the shadows to go and talk to them, and they're all speculating, why is he here? Why is TJ here? Like, oh, I'm usually happy to see TJ. And he just lets them know that they have all made it to the final. And he says, be ready for the hardest final you have ever seen. Now, so far, do you think that this is the hardest final that we've ever seen?
Absolutely not. It's like it's just like a collection of it. Honestly, it's like similar to the USA 2 final, which like wasn't overly hard. It's just like a series of checkpoints, which like I'm not complaining about that because if there is going to be just one winner, I think like this is the way to go. There was one big problem I had with the final format, which was the fact that one of the like checkpoints was like pure physical, and there wasn't an even number of men and women. So like, Nurys and Colleen got absolutely screwed, which was annoying. Like if you're going to, and they could have easily just done a female elimination. They didn't have to do a male elimination there if it was going to be like an odd number. So that was annoying, but the final definitely is not overly hard in any way.
I actually I changed my wording because I was gonna make this comment actually. What Austin here is saying is that TJ didn't say the hardest final we've ever seen. He said the hardest final they have ever seen, which isn't hard because none of them have ever been to a final four before.
It's the easiest one they've ever seen too.
Yeah, I mean it's the only one. So yeah,
I guess the easiest. I guess him saying the easiest final you've ever seen doesn't sound as good.
That's true. Wait, so Dabu says if it was genuinely hard final, most would quit a la season or USA 1.
Yeah, like that's a hard final. Like typically the hardest finals are when there's like weather conditions that make it super hard.
Absolutely.
So this one, like I think they got a bit of rain, but it wasn't like anything crazy. Yeah, but like super hot or super cold or like snowy terrain, like or anything like that is typically when it's going to be harder. Like War of the Worlds 1 stands out. USA 1, like the actual like tasks weren't that hard, but like the snow and the cold was just brutal.
Yeah, totally brutal. So Nurys does say that she's not going to be accept to beat these people in the final because they aren't her friends. And like now that I've seen a lot of the final, a good portion of it, like I'm just worried that Nurys doesn't really have a shot. And like we were saying before, like there's no way they're going to make it completely unfair. If it's going to be one winner, why would it be heavily geared to like strength or heavily geared to, a man likely being better at majority of the checkpoints? And it's like, that's not even being proven to be true. Like your point just before was that it sucks seeing Nurys and Colleen have to carry something heavy. And then you have the other teams have a man on it that can just carry more weight. It's just like, it's just facts. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
And I think I do think like after like there's going to be the elimination. Like obviously Emmanuel is going to throw Nurys in the elimination. And then I don't even know why they ended it on a cliffhanger. They should have just put Nurys in and then ended it with like us not knowing who she's going to go against. Because it's very clear.
She has to go against Colleen, right?
Well, if she has the choice, but if they're doing the chaos format, wouldn't it be a vote? Because the chaos format was
who would they vote in? Moriah?
I feel like Moriah would get voted in because Corey, Emmanuel, Berna, and Colleen are like they're like a foursome, right? So I feel like they're good with Moriah, but I feel like it's just easy to throw her in. But if Nurys does have a choice, I think it would be Colleen or maybe Berna.
Or maybe there's somebody that's been eliminated already that they have to go against. Like I don't know.
Yeah. I'm thinking like if they do a vote, it'll be Moriah. Who would I rather run? Probably Berna.
Yeah. So Natalie, I agree. So Natalie wants to know if Matthew, who do you would you rather run a final with, Denise or Berna? I would say Berna as well. Like Berna sucks, but like she's a little bit better physically.
Like I think like it depends on the format. Obviously, like if it's just like all checkpoints, like I'll take Anissa any day. Because like she's good with puzzles, like she'll do like the eating stuff. Obviously, we saw Berna can't eat, and I mean it's not like Berna's endurance is great, but for most finals where it is like run heavy, like, yeah, you have to take Berna.
She would still beat Anissa, even though
Yeah.
she's not that great. So Jorge says that Corey called out production in a tweet because those boxes were the same weight, so it was very heavy for Nurys and Colleen.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So Anissa, because she won't complain as much, really? My broken ankle.
I feel like, Anissa will complain. And if you like push her, like, I mean, not that I would do that great in like a run and in a pure endurance final, but like if you're pushing Anissa, like she's gonna like snap back at you as well. So, yeah, I don't want to like gingerly walk through a final.
Not at all. So they have the final dinner, and sorry, Moline. Where's this new term? Like, because Colleen played the mole, and they're calling her Moline, and she's sneaky. Like, has she been saying this in her confessionals this whole season? And it's the first time they've used this.
I think she's like brought it up a few times, but like honestly, like anytime she like says stuff like that, it like takes me a while to remember like, oh, what has Colleen done all season? Where it's like I know like she like almost made a move once, and then like she was thrown in, and then said like, oh, I'm not gonna take like this bullshit anymore, and then she just went right back to the alliance again. So yeah, she's like talking up like, oh yeah, this like spy like mole game. It's like, but you haven't really done anything at all.
Thanks for my blessings, for my sneeze, guys. Sophie wants to know who I run the final with, Leroy or Jay. I'd take Leroy all day, yo. Definitely. Would you do the same?
Yeah, it's like I feel like Leroy, like Jay is actually has like an attitude on him too, so like, he's gonna be like a dick. And if I'm gonna win, like I'd rather win with Leroy than Jay. But I don't know. We haven't really seen Jay run a final. Leroy is like honestly not bad. He is just like very unlucky and like chooses the wrong allies, I feel.
So Eunice was saying that Colleen should write. Whoops, no, not that one. I meant Debbie was saying here if Nurys chooses Colleen, that's dumb. She's already dead last. Has to be Corey. Only way to win is to take him out or Emmanuel. But like, if it's to stay in the game, I'd rather go with somebody that I have a better chance to beat. No,
that's what I would do. Honestly, I was a little surprised. Well, not really, but like Corey was risky by calling out Jay. Like if Corey just wanted the easy win, he could have just picked Berna or Colleen. But like obviously they're tightly aligned, so I don't think he wanted to be like that ruthless. But yeah, if I'm Nurys and like you're not aligned with any of them, I'm probably just going to choose the one I think's easiest to beat.
Exactly. So we have this final dinner. Everybody gets a letter underneath their plate. Everybody's kind of crying about who they're playing for. We see Emmanuel gets a letter from his girlfriend, so he's feeling quite guilty. And so now he has to win so he can make his cheating worth it, is basically how he feels. He does say that she's too good for me, blah, 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 says most cheaters. But I feel like this is laying down the groundwork for him to win. I mean, like, it was all worth it in the end,
Yeah, the winner edit of being a serial cheater.
Like showing all the clips. MTV didn't hide those.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm definitely not getting winner edit vibes from Emmanuel with his 40 confessionals on the season. But
has he gotten up to Big T yet?
I think he was 9 behind coming into tonight. I don't think he had 9 confessionals tonight.
Hope not.
So I would guess he's still behind. And next week should barely pass her.
Fake tears dinner. Bored. Yeah.
The most pointless scene in the whole season. Like we already know that they get calls home every week, and we see their calls home. So why do I care to like watch them read a letter 3 days later when like you're talking to your family all season long anyways?
Absolutely. So Moriah, her family is telling her to visualize success in her mind. Corey's has his father sending him a letter saying the things that he always wanted his dad to say, and he's crying. Colleen breaks down about her mom. Berna goes over to hug her. Her family is the type of family that says, don't dream too big. but they are cheering her on here. And then Berna received a letter from her brother, but she really wanted it for her mother. And then she cried, and then she kind of stepped away, and then she didn't want to pull focus from everybody else getting their letters, but she did in the end. Yeah, anything to say about these letters other than that?
Nope.
Okay, so Nurys thinks that Moriah is her biggest threat. So that's why I don't think that she would bother to go against her, because, like, I mean, yes, you want to take out your biggest threat, but also, would you want to lose? I don't know. Jay thinks Berna is his biggest threat just because she's a circus performer, so she might be capable of doing, things like run on that big cylinder really well. Which is true. She does have some unusual talents, but she can't run. And Corey, of course, thinks Emmanuel is the biggest threat. And he's also better at math than Corey is. Now, that's the thing with Emmanuel. Like, Jay wasn't even thinking that Emmanuel might be competitive physically to him. Like, does Jay really, really think that he was better than Emmanuel?
No, I think all of them went into like their confessionals, and they were asked to say, name one reason why every person left is the favorite, and then they aired something of every single person. That's honestly all I got there. Like they probably are in confessionals for like an hour each, and it's like, hey, Nurys, like, say why Moriah would win.
Yeah,
why would Colleen win? It's like, all right, what can we show like based on what's actually going to happen next? Plus, like, all right, let's like make it seem like these people are actually good, even though they're probably not.
So we are at the beginning of the final, and they started at 24 people. Now they're down to 7, playing for $356,000. And it is everyone, as we know, first final. So then TJ went through every single person, justifying why they deserve to be there. He even calls Colleen Moline. How'd you feel about this, about TJ giving all these accolades to these?
The exact same way I feel about the previous confessionals of everyone. You could tell TJ was like, half of this was like a voiceover. Anytime it would like pan away from him and he's like talking about the people, he's like, it's like Jeff Probst at the start of a Survivor season when he's just like narrating everything, and then it just like pans to the competitors that he's talking about, and they're just like nodding their head. It's like, okay, like, wow, like production really like fed TJ these like super cringy lines. But I was thinking initially, like, I am glad that they had that in there, because it did help me remember a little bit of Colleen, Emmanuel, and Berna's game in particular, because I was struggling to remember anything until TJ gave the little like 15-second spiel there.
So Sophie wants to know if we think the champs that we saw in the chaos portion will somehow be involved in the chaos part of this. Maybe
would very much doubt it, but
like if they're still on site, you never know if they've been still sequestered. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Jordan is going to want to stay for like 10, 12 weeks. So I don't know. Like, are they going to bring back like CT?
Maybe another champ that we haven't seen?
I doubt it. I feel like they would have put that in the promo.
Well, then why are they calling it chaos then? You know what I mean? They set a precedent here.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be pulling the mace themselves.
Oh, that's possible. Yeah. Maybe that's how. Oh, that actually would make sense. Like, Emmanuel picks Nurys to go in, and then maybe Nurys pulls a mace of the other names. And maybe there's four swords, and Nurys pulls one. That actually would make sense. I actually do think that's what it'll be.
That sucks, though.
Yeah, that would suck, but it would be kind of funny. That has to be it, because I feel like last season in the final, they brought back like whatever the twist was.
The daggers,
yeah. And like, I think in like free agents, they brought back like the like flip cards too. So yeah, they've done that before. That has to be it. So it probably won't be a vote or Nurys picking. It's just going to be a random
maybe it's
draw.
like I was going to say maybe also another mace would be like she gets to choose who she wants. Like, I wish that was one of the maces,
Yeah. Oh,
Or
that's
do you think it's
possible.
going to be same sex, or do you think it'll be against anybody?
I think it'll be like fair game. Like I feel like it'll be fair game for anyone, just because like Corey was allowed to pick
Anybody?
anyone, and he ultimately chose a guy. But I feel like it's gonna be like a fair enough elimination.
Wah, wah. I mean, I hope it's okay, but like, I just don't know. Oh, wait. Well, we kind of had trivia in this final. We didn't actually get a proper trivia episode, right? Unless I'm forgetting.
Yeah, no trivia, no hall brawl this season.
No, Hall Brawl. That's fun.
Yeah. Um, yeah, no, a lot of like I mean, we did have the pole wrestle, but I think that was like last minute. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of like the like staples were not really here this season. I feel like the elimination will just be like some form of like
Balls in.
puzzle.
Oh.
No, I don't think it'll be balls in, because if like Nurys ends up against like Corey Lay,
Yeah.
like how can they do a balls in?
Yeah. What else could it be? Could it be one of the whatchamacallit, like one of the things that they had to do in those chaos eliminations? So
I feel like it'll be something like similar to like what Corey and Jay did, where it's gonna be like retrieve like pieces, do a puzzle, or like something like that.
Yeah, I can see that, to be fair. He does mention, though, TJ, that Nurys took out 4 beasts. So he seemed the most excited about saying Nurys' stats out of everyone's, from my perspective, anyways. We learned that third place is going to get 36,000, second 70,000, and first place 250,000. I mean, small prize for, but pretty decent for the winner.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like even for like second place, like 70K, like pretty nice.
Right.
I feel like in the past, like second place has not gotten that much.
It has been like 55.
Yeah, and that's with like a bigger prize pot too. So I guess like sometimes it's been like pairs though that wins, so it's like split amongst 2 people. But yeah,
I'd be happy with all of them, but like it is
for
still
sure.
pretty small.
I mean, it sucks if you come in 4th or 5th, I guess, because then you just get nothing.
Well, yeah, you just get to the final and then you get purged out.
Yeah.
Eek. Yeah, exactly. Sophie agrees here with you. 6 for the people, 4th to 6th place.
Yeah, and Jay as well in 7th.
Yeah. So the final is going to be in 3 phases. So in the control phase, they're going to be working together. In the chaos phase, they're going to be rotating pairs, and then the conquest phase is going to be individually running. Over the course of the final, it's going to be 26 miles. And for the control challenge, they're going to be basically running through the fortress. I guess they got this idea from USA 2, but they're gathering some ropes from different stations. Everybody has their own particular color of ropes. And out of the 19 chests, they have to find them their own 3 ropes. And then there's one chest that has an orange ropes with 9 in it. So I didn't really understand why you needed to take the one with the 9 in it. And why Corey had to take the one. Like, can you just decide which chest you're doing and start taking those rope colors? Like, could he have chosen white instead of Nurys choosing white? Like, how did they decide?
Yeah, but I thought Corey said, like, I'm going to choose this one because I'm, like, the biggest guy, and it's, like, the most.
He did say that, but why did they just somebody needs to carry the heavy ropes? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was, like, the ropes themselves were heavier. I think he just had to carry more
or 9,
ropes.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah, so he chose that one because he's, like, the biggest guy. And then, like, ultimately, because they're working as a team for this one, which, by the way, like, this part of the final was, again, completely pointless. Because, like, as fans, like, why would any of us ever care if they win or lose 16K?
Yeah.
It means absolutely nothing to me. So, yeah, like the fact that's like this was even there was pointless. But yeah, I think it was just like, all right, like because they're all working together and it's for like additional money or to not lose money. It's like, all right, it makes sense for the strongest physically to like carry the more ropes and then just go like down.
What had happened with him? So he was running and then he dropped a rope?
Yeah, I think he just like had one like around his shoulders and it fell off and he didn't realize.
How did he not feel it? They're so heavy. I mean, I feel like I'd feel if something went kerclunk on the ground. I would think. Maybe, I don't know. I've had to carry 9 heavy ropes, but
it seems like they were like kind of dragging them too a little bit. So maybe he was just like, it was dragging and he didn't even realize. I mean, obviously he didn't realize, but yeah, it's pretty weird. Like you would think like you would kind of look around your surroundings to make sure, because that's like a pretty big fuck up there, as we saw, like ended up losing because of it.
So before they start this, I believe it was before, TJ's chefs prepared an energy drink. So it's TJ's tuna and beet mayo treat. That doesn't sound that bad, does it?
Nah. Any like liquid I think would be fine.
Yeah, just plug your nose from the inside and swallow it. So basically they had about 4 minutes according to the timer. We finally get a timer on a challenge. It doesn't matter, but whatever. They're trying to make us care that they are saving their money, but they didn't. So they had to like take the ropes and it was actually easier than I thought it was, because when they showed the design that they had to use their ropes to make, I thought that they would have to figure out the rope lengths, but it had like a key code. So it's like there's a yellow post and a yellow post and a white post and a white post. So you really just had to follow, like, paint by numbers. So it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, but regardless, they didn't complete it. They were all pretty upset about it, and Corey was the most upset about it because they pretty much lost it because of him. So now the prize money is for third place is going to be $30,000, second place $60,000, and first place is still going to remain at $250,000. But now there's going to be an elimination where you have to where Corey's now, where they're going to have to nominate one contender to go down into the sand and compete. So I like what Nurys had to say, being like, she thinks that they should keep the strength in there, that, like, you know, you're going to want to probably be working in Paris. You're going to want to have someone strong with you to do better. And so I liked that thought, because she was trying to probably avoid herself getting nominated here. But the vote seems like it's going towards Corey. Emmanuel, though, votes Nurys. What does he have against Nurys? Is it because she just was never into him?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's just like unwilling to even like say people he's worked with's name. It's like at this point, it doesn't really matter.
Corey votes for himself, and Colleen votes for Nurys. And like, and even there, I'm just like, Nurys is so annoying. I mean, Colleen's so annoying. Like, I get it. You're working with Moriah the whole season. Your best friend's Berna. You can't say Emmanuel, but like, I don't know. The fact that she gets to have a voice all the time just irritates me. I'm just tired of Colleen getting to say anything. So Corey, though, is the one that's actually voted in. He receives the most votes, and he says that he is not choosing anybody that has gone down to compete at least once. And Nurys is the only person that's gone down at all. So he decides to say Jay, because in his confessional he says Jay has been a snake. And yeah, I was really, really, really proud of Corey here for choosing Jay. What do you think? You must have loved it.
Well, this was the only good part of the episode for me, because like it was the only part where there was like strategy or like anything like of note. And not only that, like he obviously said like Nurys like has earned it. I'm not choosing her. She was the only one like not in the alliance. So, and then he also said like, if I don't win, I want a woman to win. Which also is like, yes, Corey, like this is what we all want. Not necessarily him to win, but we all like we want to see like a woman win if it's going to be a solo winner, or most people do. So when he said that, I'm like, okay, so we're losing either Corey, Jay, or Emmanuel. I figured like no way he's going to choose Emmanuel. So it's like, all right, we're losing Corey or Jay here. Personally, like I like Corey, so I was hoping he would win. But yeah, the fact that he like did save Nurys and then not just like take like the easy way out, because like we didn't really know what the challenge was going to be, and it was like fairly physical. Yeah, I was super happy with Corey there, so that was I was impressed. And the biggest knock on Corey has been like, oh yeah, like, and honestly I'm guilty of this too, and I'm like eating my words here, but like at the beginning of the season and last season, it was like, oh, he only yells
at women.
Yeah, he only gets in like women's faces. Like he only targets women, and he just wants to work with like all the bros. And this season, like he got into it with Asaf. He called out Jay here, so he's done like he's
Down
had a
to
few
people.
moments where it's like, all right, maybe we were like a little too harsh on Corey at
Or,
times.
I mean, potentially, but what if he realizing that Nurys is the golden child here and like he can't get hated anymore. If he wants a chance of coming back, he needs to be a little bit of a hero in this moment. And so he's like, I heard the way that TJ was talking about Nurys. He likes her. And I don't want to be have any more hate from the fans for a move. So let me go and try to be the hero.
I don't really think that's what it is. Like I do think Corey is like smart enough to understand. Like, yeah, Nurys is like clearly the hero of the story. But like he also still could have just gone like the super easy route and been like, all right, I'm gonna call out Colleen. Who like would have been like he would have almost guaranteed won against Colleen. And he's not like as close with her as he is with Berna, just because of like their past season. So, and there's no way he looks at Colleen and it's like, oh yeah, she's the hero of the story too. Like if he's smart enough to know Nurys is, he's smart enough to know Colleen is like kind of going to be irrelevant.
So do you think that what the producers thought was going to happen is that in this challenge that a woman would have been maybe considered the weakest and would have been voted in, and so that like lightly a woman would go against another woman in this challenge and it would have been even pairs, male to female?
I mean, I have to assume that the producers would have thought that Nurys would be voted in because Nurys was the only one on the outside. That's like, I mean, if production was like smart, they realize like, hey, Nurys has been voted in the last 2 eliminations. Like she's probably on the outside here as well. Obviously, it didn't turn out that way, but like my assumption, like if Corey didn't screw that up, would he still have been voted in, or would they have just all voted Nurys?
They probably would have voted Nurys.
That's what I think too. So like I feel like production would have assumed Nurys was going in, which makes the decision to have this format be even worse because if Nurys is like the hero that they want, like you're directly putting her in danger twice.
Completely giving her the not having the chance to win this, especially with heavy portions where she can be paired up with another woman. Brutal. Like brutal. Rig it if you're gonna just like or something. It was just so bad. It was so bad. So holy cow, Corey ends up taking out Jay. So they had to, for this control elimination, they had to run and retrieve puzzle pieces and then build a tower and hold it steady with their knee. I thought it was interesting that this tower was like one was triangles and one was square, like cubes, right?
I don't know.
You didn't care.
Yeah. Once like he called out Jay, I just like stopped paying attention until I saw who was gonna win.
Why you thought Jay was gonna come and take it?
No, I didn't know Corey was like fast and like I assumed like he's like all other big guys where it's like, oh, his like endurance is probably not great. And then they're all like talking him up and I'm like seeing him on Twitter saying he runs like 10K every day. I'm like, oh damn, okay. Well, I didn't realize. Like I thought he was like a guy that was just gonna like kind of gas out and not be great with that stuff. But once like I saw him like get started, I'm like, okay, yeah, Corey probably has this one.
Even TJ was saying like, look how fast Corey is, and Nurys is like, I've never seen Corey move this quickly. So I wonder if that was a little bit of winner's edit for Corey, maybe. I don't know. Everybody's kind of getting a bit of a winner's edit at this point. So after Corey takes out Jay, I wrote, haha. It was really satisfying. Definitely karma for Jay. And then when he turns to Nurys saying that he wants to win, her to win, I was like, get out of here. Like, I mean, I'm sure he probably does to a certain degree, like, and he's trying to save face on their friendship. But like, if you wanted her to win, like, you made it really hard for her to win.
Yeah.
Really
I mean,
hard.
if there's any thought that like Corey was like playing up like, oh, like let me save Nurys because like she's the hero. I think Jay, as he left, like definitely was doing that where it's like, all right, let me like throw my support to who I know is the hero here. Even though like deep down, like I guarantee Jay probably wants Emmanuel to win. Like that's like, oh, he's my boy. Like at this point, it's like, all right, Corey called me out. I probably don't want him to win. Don't really care about Berna or Colleen. I guarantee like Jay actually wants Emmanuel to win and not Nurys.
That's so whack. So whack. Jorge says Jay didn't even get an exit confessional. Production must not like him. Yeah, you're right. Like I'd have to go back and double check, but I don't remember him saying like how sad he was to leave. Did he?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it was like pretty like unceremonious exit.
But Nurys was giggling about it the whole time. I was like, giggle, Nurys. Like, that must have felt great that you didn't have to go in and Corey took you out. Sweet. So we're now into the chaos phase where there's going to be 5 checkpoints. Individual times are going to be kept. The fastest time is going to have some sort of power. Womp womp. So the first set of pairs are Moriah and Berna, Emmanuel and Colleen, Corey and Nurys. There's going to be a race, but Mariah's really upset because she's with Berna. Berna has her groin that we heard about this about 2 or 3 months ago. And so we knew that she was going to be slow, but yeah, she wasn't able to run very quickly. So they had to run to this rope, this ball, one of those big like cage balls, and it has the rope around the cage ball. They have to untie these ropes. So it's kind of like half of, what's it called? Oh my God. What's that rope one called again?
Not so fast.
Not so fast. It's kind of like not so fast without having to like tangle it up for the other person. It's just like untangle some ropes, bring it to the finish line, and then roll the ball to the finish line. So no surprise, Emmanuel and Colleen win that first checkpoint. Corey and Nurys were second, and then Moriah and Berna were third. Berna's whining and crying, and now she's in her confessional being, I'm not strong enough. And I'm like, why was she trying so hard to be here if she does not have the mindset to like get through it? Like, I'm really, really upset that we have to listen to her whine.
Yeah, I was hoping she was just gonna quit. Like there was like multiple times where I thought like, all right, she's like, I was hoping actually like when she was kind of refusing to do things, I was hoping TJ was just gonna say like, all right, like if you're not gonna participate and you're just gonna be here like whining about how you can't do it, just like go, because someone's leaving anyways. Just get out of here and like watch, like now like she'll be safe from this elimination and like she'll end up like she'll end up getting to finish out the oh God, I hope not top 3. Like she does not deserve any of this money. What if
the top 3 is Emmanuel, Colleen, and Berna?
I think that'll be hard to happen, but yeah, that would be a nightmare. Because the thing is, like, I don't even think any of those 3 are going to be like necessarily invited back. And the fact that like if your top 3 is not even going to get a call back because they're so boring and irrelevant, that's just like a nightmare look for the season.
Well, and that's another thing. Like at one point, I think I messaged to you, or maybe I was in one of the comments. I was saying that I wouldn't think that MTV would be that excited to have a lot of like the winner be someone that's not really popular in the United States or like from the United States, because there's not going to bring any additional hype. I don't think that people from outside of the US or North America are really watching the challenge. Like, do you think that Emmanuel's fans are watching the challenge?
No, I mean, Emmanuel like goes on these like Twitter rants all the time. Like every week, like tomorrow morning, he'll post like 10 things on Twitter and he gets like no likes. Like he doesn't have fans. So like people like that, like if Emmanuel were to win, he's not going to gain like fans from that at all. And like he currently like struggles to like have people interact with him. Like if you look at his tweets and shit, he gets like no likes on them.
And then like so Berna and Colleen also don't seemingly have
yeah, like I mean they probably have more, but because I know Berna's done Survivor like 3 times now.
Yeah,
she's on the all. Yeah, so I don't know what like the fans are like there. Like obviously like people in the UK have like big fan bases, but yeah, like the international like group that ended up making it far are just not the people that MTV would want to like make the faces. It's definitely not. I would have guessed what they envisioned. Certainly from like a fan's point of view, it's like not ideal.
Well, like not if you're trying to save MTV. Like this isn't it. It isn't it. It isn't it.
Like I'm sure they would have loved if like Big T, Melissa, and like honestly, like James was boring on the show, but like he has a massive fan base. So if the three of them were the three international
I
people
would
in the
way rather
finals,
that.
oh yeah, and the MTV would for sure too, because that would actually bring them something.
Exactly. And since like the UK, they do seem to have a lot of hit MTV shows,
Yeah.
like I'm assuming Geordie Shore was on MTV. And they have their MTV is popular. They started X on the Beach, like, it's, yeah, I think that as much as like I think it's great that they're trying to expand and like bring people in from around the world and different countries and cultures, I also think that it's not necessarily amazing for an American product to not have any American winners in the end. It's just a little bit unfortunate. Like them, it's fine that they win. Whatever, that was the game that was played.
Oh
Everybody should
yeah,
be
like
happy. But
at the end of the day, like I don't care who wins that much. Obviously, like I'd prefer someone I like to win because like I would rather them have money. But in the grand scheme of things, like the winner to me like won't like impact like my overall like view of the season really, unless like someone wins in like a really like crazy way.
right.
Um, but yeah, like at the end of the day, like if Nurys could get out in the elimination next, like the start of next episode, and like when I think about this season, like she's still going to be the first person that comes to mind. It won't be whoever wins. Like I mean, honestly, it would be pretty funny if like Berna won because it would just be like the most random winner ever that would like be so undeserving that it would just like leave a stain on the season. But like to me, like it would be kind of funny. Um, but like if like Emmanuel were to win or Moriah, where they're just like a boring person that's like physical, it's like yeah, like that's like completely like a nothing to me.
I would personally rather Moriah win than Emmanuel.
Oh yeah, for sure. So like I actually like I like Moriah. She's just boring. Emmanuel is like I don't like him and he's boring. Which is just like the worst combination.
Oh wait, actually, we didn't talk about that. Sorry. Okay, let's first talk about what Dabu's here saying. Remember in Spies, Lies, and Allies, how much crack Berna spoke to Amber for not being good. Yeah, she definitely had a lot to say. Like we know that Berna is injured, but like she definitely was not really that excited about Amber and wasn't really being like, "You could do it, Amber. You're good." Like she definitely had words to say. So it's very interesting how word karma is coming back for her at this point. Mm-hmm. So Fernando here says this: despite whatever the outcome of the season is, it was still better than 37 and 38. We got a new batch of rookies to root for: Horacio, Nurys, Kyland, Ravyn, Zara. True. Anybody else that's missing from you? I guess Corey. You like Corey?
I think this. Well, I mean, I said it last week too. Like, I think this season is like significantly better than 37 and 38. I think it's better than 36 and 35 too overall. Like, it's not a great season by any means, but yeah, like at the end of the day, like 5 years from now, if the challenge is still on, this season is going to be a large reason why, because it introduced a large number of people. Like to me, like even like some of the people like that Fernando named, like sorry, Horacio and Zara, like I like them because like they're just like nice people, but like they're not super entertaining. They're just like good physically.
But they'll be helpful though if they have a good alliance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like 5 years from now, if the show is still successful, it's going to be because a lot of the people from this season like made a name for themselves, and like even people I don't like Olivia, Jay. I like Michele, but didn't love her this season. Like they're going to be staples on the show as well, and they've like cemented themselves as villains, which we needed because like we just needed new heroes, new villains, new challenge beasts. Like we need like these new people because the CTs and Karas and Laurels, like they're realistically not going to be around forever. So if the show wants to continue, like you do need new people. So I think in the long run, it's going to be a definite plus for the show.
So Dabu says that they're really pushing the German market with Berna, Colleen, Kim, Nam. Was Kells, he was German?
Oh, I don't remember.
Like Kells was British. Or maybe, no, I thought it was British, but I don't remember specifically. So the next pairing for the next checkpoint is going to be Corey and Colleen, Nurys and Moriah, Berna and Emmanuel. And they're going to be rowing a boat. And I'm like, that also favors strength. And I was like, I remembered Moriah, and she also remembered when she had a lot of trouble rowing a boat with Fessy last season. So I was like, dang, Nurys is going to get last place likely here. Kind of sucks. It kind of sucks that chances are all the girls will have at least one third place finish, and the guys most likely won't. Like, just most chances are, and it's really irritating. But Berna also can't row. Or no, Berna can row, so she's actually able to help Emmanuel here because like her groin is what was hurting, but she's able to use her arms. So they are able to get to the shore really quickly, and then they have to recreate an image of tangrams on a table. And I was like, ooh, amazing. Like, this is the one that Nurys knows. And apparently she didn't.
She forgot.
She forgot that she put the two triangles together to make the square.
Yeah.
That was the key. So Emmanuel wins first, Colleen and Corey second, Moriah and Nurys third. Nurys was pretty pissed because she knows she just did it, but she couldn't remember. Third checkpoint's going to be Nurys and Colleen, Corey and Berna, Moriah and Emmanuel. They had to answer some questions, and they kind of did this before, where they had to do saw the rope, and then if they got the correct answer, they had to drag a lighter box. Wrong answer, drag a heavier box. They had to do this twice. The questions were things like most Grand Slams, Serena Williams, who sang One Hit Wonder, Barbie Girl, Aqua, first winner of American Idol, Kelly Clarkson. I don't think anybody got those wrong, but I don't know if they didn't really show it.
No, Berna got one wrong.
Yeah, she got Berna. It was the second round. It was who has won the worst World Cup. She said Argentina confidently, and it was wrong. It was Brazil. Landlocked country is Kazakhstan, and how do you measure a circle, or what's the perimeter of a circle measured by? Its circumference or whatever. So, I mean, it didn't really matter if they got a lighter box or not, but Colleen and Nurys were far behind. They ended up timing out. And of course, Emmanuel and Moriah win. Moriah's pretty strong. We know that Emmanuel is probably the strongest guy. I guess there's only two of them, but Emmanuel's stronger endurance-wise than Corey, and then Girl team. Like, it's just not going to happen. So that was pretty lackluster for me. Anything you want to say about that stupid checkpoint?
Nope.
That makes him even hotter. Kels is a Brit, but grew up in Austria and fluent in German. That's hot. Sorry. Half the episode was Berna complaining about how hard the final was. It didn't even look that hard.
No, it looked, I mean, like, I'm sure it's like, I think they said it was 26, did they say 26 miles total? Yeah. But that's like, I'm guessing it's over 2 days. Like, I feel like there's going to be like probably an overnight portion after the elimination. And then, so yeah, like obviously like you're traveling like decently far, but like it is all checkpoints. So, yeah, it didn't seem that difficult.
Yeah, it would have been nice bloody money if Berna had quit the final a long time ago. And
well, I wish she quit. She should have quit, but only after Jay has already been eliminated.
That's true.
Not before. Don't save Jay. Let Jay go home at Corey's hands, and then Berna can quit.
Yeah. Maybe we still have a chance, but we have seen the scene though where she's crying, right? Where we thought she's being medically DQ'd. Like that scene's gone now, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like she's gonna quit, which sucks. Checkpoint 4, Nurys is with Emmanuel here, Colleen with Berna, Corey with Moriah, and it sucks that Nurys is in a position where she's like, she wants to win this because she just came in last in the previous checkpoint, but she doesn't want Emmanuel to win at another checkpoint and possibly win power to take her out, which is what's likely going to happen. Colleen and Berna are partnered together, and then Corey and Moriah, where they have to eat all their food. So they have a molten jalapeno shot, a stomach lining surprise, and a lamb brain and eyeball soup. Which would be your favorite?
I mean, like, again, like anything like liquid, I think I'd be fine with. So like the soup, the shots, like I'd be good with. It was just like the whatever the other thing was. Yeah.
Dry
like
and chewing.
Yeah. Like anything like the chewing stuff, like that's going to be tough. anything liquid, like I'd be cool with. But again, like, I mean, Colleen like really got screwed with these, like some of these pairings, because she DQ'd 3 times, was it?
Yeah.
And like she actually did very well. I think she was the second person to finish behind Corey, who Corey's just like a monster with eating, but like Colleen did very well. And I believe
And she's trying to motivate Berna. And Berna's like, don't talk to me. And then she's just like, oh.
yeah. So basically Berna like sucked at everything except for rowing. And she just happened to be with Emmanuel, who won everything. And she was with him for the rowing thing where she was competent at. So yeah, I mean, Colleen really got screwed. Emmanuel like did well, but also like got very lucky, which was unfortunate.
So Berna's whining and crying. She can't do it. I thought it was funny but disgusting when they're talking about popping the eyeball and a black sludge came out of it. Moriah's just picturing the black sludge in her stomach. But Corey and Moriah, they do it again and finish first place here with the eating portion. I'm proud of Moriah. I'm glad we can count on Moriah to eat. She seems like she'd be pickier, you know? So, yeah. But then Corey goes and pukes, and and Berna's just like, stop puking so loudly. Stop puking. I'm just like, puke louder, Corey. Puke louder.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people like don't like the like food stuff because it's just like montages of puking. I honestly like, yeah, I don't need to see people puke, but I actually love the food eating stuff just because like I love seeing the TJ reactions, and like he just like cracks up every time, and Corey's like throwing up like crazy. TJ's like laughing his ass off while like Berna is freaking out. So like to me, like that moment is just worth it. So I'll like deal with like watching people puke if like in order to get the like TJ moment and then like the reaction of everyone. So I actually like don't mind it at all.
I don't mind it either. Fanta loves the puking montages. She thinks it's very funny. So Gwibble Gabble here says, I'm just hoping today's times aren't being counted towards the win. I hope they counted towards simply winning the right to pick who went into the final elimination. Then the rest is solo, which is an actual equalizer. What do you think about that? Do you think that these times are only going to be used for this portion right now, or do you think it's going to follow into whatever is going on?
No, I think it's going to be like a hard reset. Like, I think it's like, all right, Emmanuel, like you.
It's like the first time I've ever really wanted a hard reset.
Yeah, it's going to be like, Emmanuel, you pick who goes in, which is like an advantage in itself, and you're safe from elimination, which is like, again, like obviously a huge advantage. So I think that's going to be it. And then after that, it's going to be like, all right, we're going to do an overnight challenge. The winner of that will get like a head start on like the final, whatever the final like task is.
I was laughing. I was like, keep puking, Corey. He's like, I can't puke any quieter. Leave me alone. Let me puke in peace. So Alex is saying, isn't there a clip of Berna being tended by the medics in the trailer for the season? I think we saw that, no?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw that clip in tonight's episode.
That's what I was picturing anyways. It seemed like it, but maybe there's a length, like she gets worse. I don't know. So Bernie and Colleen end up timing out, even though Colleen finished the food portion in second place. So we're here now at checkpoint 5. We got Emmanuel and Corey, stacked team, Berna and Nurys, and Emmanuel and who's the third team? Moriah and Colleen. So before, though, they go on to the 5th checkpoint, they're going to have dessert, which is another tuna and beet and mayo treat. Yum. That sounds actually good. So they basically just have like these 2 slabs, kind of like chopsticks, large chopsticks, where they had to funnel a ball into a crate. That's all they had to do, right? Like it wasn't different than that because it seemed very easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they were shaped weird. They were like, they had like bumps on it, so it would like constantly fall off. Like, I don't think it was just like a straight line, which made it a little more difficult, but it did seem like fairly like easy to get the hang of, or like even when they were missing like very close. So eventually like 2 of the 3 teams were able to like figure it out and didn't seem that tough.
It didn't at all. But Berna does say, like, she's been on Survivor, and so she's done challenges like this, like, many times, which seemed to be true because Berna and Nurys do get first place. So I'm happy that Nurys at least has had one first place finish in this first portion of the final. Corey and Emmanuel come in second, and Colleen and Moriah are in third place. So this is basically the end of the episode. And for Chaos, the clear-cut winner is Emmanuel. He placed first in all but one, and in the one that he didn't place first in, he placed second. So he's going to be choosing one contender to send in, and then we get a end of episode. Well, I didn't watch the scenes in the next episode. So did you watch those, or?
It didn't really show anything because, like, I think they were trying to not show who wound up in the elimination. So they didn't want to, they didn't really show anything in the scenes. It was more just like the voiceover of TJ, like, you are now a challenge champion. And it was kind of stuff like that. Like, you would see people running and stuff. But I think they purposely didn't show much because they don't want to spoil who goes home in the elimination. Or who winds up in the elimination, which will obviously be probably the biggest part of the next episode. So yeah, it wasn't much.
Corey says, Jorge here saying that Nurys says, I'm so done with you, TJ. And then TJ says it back at her. It's obvious that Nurys is his fave. Yes, he likes Nurys, 100%. No doubt there. Bloody Mary thinks that Emmanuel is going to choose Nurys.
Yeah,
think he's going to choose Nurys? Or what 100%. If he tries to choose Corey just to get back at him picking Jay?
No, Emmanuel's a pussy. He is we already saw he voted for Nurys last vote instead of Corey when everyone already said they were voting Corey because he's oh, Nurys was against me, I'm gonna vote for her. Even Nurys is a threat, obviously. We've seen her do very well this season, but I don't think Emmanuel considers her a threat because he just doesn't respect her because she's a woman. And Emmanuel probably in his head thinks a woman would never beat me. So I think he is going to choose her, but not because he's threatened by her, because he just doesn't like her.
Yeah, it's annoying. But what about the fact that Jay's we want you to win, Nurys, and so you think that Emmanuel would get jealous of that and that Jay's not rooting for him? Or
I've never seen Emmanuel make a move against the power. Even I know we're in the final, so it could be different. I would be absolutely stunned if he voted for anyone other than Nurys here.
I know, just hoping. But so if he voted for Corey, though, maybe Corey would choose Berna. Should be nice. Or Colleen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think they'll have a choice, but I wonder what he would do. I feel like he would probably at that point have to pick Nurys.
Oh wait, and I guess Emmanuel wouldn't choose Moriah because she's never said his name ever. So yeah.
Oh, I guess Corey could pick up Moriah if he had a choice. I don't know what their relationship's like, to be honest. If he wants to save face and not pick Nurys, but it's never gonna happen because Emmanuel's gonna pick Nurys.
So Gwigglebot Gabble says that TJ likes heart. Nurys is the only competitor to display any all season. Of course he loves her. Yeah, she does have heart. And it's really sad that I'm worried that she's not going to, that they didn't show this elimination or who they picked because she's not going to win. I'm scared. What if she chooses Colleen and Colleen beats her?
I do think I think Nurys will go in. But I feel like Nurys will probably win against any of those three women. If it somehow is if it is a draw and she winds up against Corey, I think Corey could win. If it is if there is a speed element, especially. But I honestly would favor Nurys over Colleen, Berna, or Moriah in anything that involves any sort of mental prowess, and then even I don't think speed wise any of them are that much better.
Well, she's already won the People's Champ. Let's be real, technical win or not. Fine, she has won though. I love Nurys so much. So, okay, Dabu's calling us out here saying Nurys all of a sudden the hero as if she wasn't in an alliance that got rid of Big T and Melissa. That was 2 months ago. She thought she was in a different position than she was. She thought she was working with her friend Jay. Like, she thought she was working with what were they called? The Fantastic Four, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you behoove Nurys for being part of those decisions?
I think like the one like benefit of like these seasons being like unnecessarily long are, well, there's just like, you kind of have to look at it as like almost like 2 separate seasons. Like there's going to be like an early hero or heroes, which was like Big T and Melissa, because they were the underdogs. And once the underdogs go home, eventually, like new underdogs form. So like, yeah, if you like went back and listened to us talk like week 4 or 5, we probably weren't talking about like, oh, like I so badly want Nurys to win, because like her position was better. So yeah, like Dabu's right in the sense that she is all of a sudden the hero, but that's because when an underdog goes home, a new underdog forms, because like ultimately Nurys wound up on the bottom of the alliance, and at the time we didn't know that was going to be the case. But when it did become the case, like she becomes even more rootable. Like I always liked her, but I like am more actively rooting for her since she became on the underdog side, which I think is like the definition of underdog. And every season there's going to be different ones, and then throughout the season there's going to be different ones, because power can change pretty quickly.
Nope, good points. Good points. Yeah, I have to agree with you that, you know, as the game progresses and what happens in the game, it's just going to change the way you feel about the players and the people that she was working with at the beginning of the season when we were rooting for Big T and Melissa. She's not working with those people anymore. And so she became the Big T and Melissa because that's who Jay and company were against. So, yeah,
like honestly, if Melissa and Big T got thrown in like essentially every week until they went home, and then like after that, like Ravyn started getting thrown in, or even before, like Ravyn was kind of like an underdog, but she went home fairly early as well. Like let's just say Nurys stayed on the top the whole time, and like
it wouldn't be the same.
If like Ravyn and Colleen, for example, just kept getting thrown in and they kept surviving, like people would be cheering for them, even though like Colleen's kind of boring. Like Ravyn was fun, but at the end of the day, like people are going to root for the underdog regardless. And it's just like better when the underdog is also likable. So Nurys like is the perfect person to root for because she's become the underdog, and like we just naturally like her because she's a good TV personality. So that was like
when we started rooting for Colleen, then she like disappointed us, and it's just like, okay, never mind. Like we started rooting for Nurys like heavy, and she didn't disappoint, which is also awesome. Like I obviously liked her more than I liked that I liked Colleen, but you know, she just became more rootable, more likable, and Colleen just didn't, if we're using that as a comparison.
Oh, for sure. And like the main difference between like Moriah and Ravyn is like Moriah has just stayed on the top the whole time, so her game is so much more boring, whereas Ravyn like had to fight, and they came in like a very similar position. Like both of them were like rookies to reality TV. They didn't like do much on their first season, and now like people are like, oh, we need Ravyn back because she was an underdog, and nobody's really saying we need Moriah back because she was in power the whole season. So that's like, honestly, that's like the name of the game. And so that's why it's sometimes like people are saying like Nurys is the people's champ. Sometimes it's better to be the underdog and lose than to like be in power and win, because you like Jenny West, for example, where has she been the last 4 years? Because she just like dominated one season essentially, and was pretty boring doing it. So it's like, just be an underdog. People will like you. You'll come back, and eventually you'll get your win.
Yeah, eventually. I think Nurys couldn't get a win. I'm
I
still.
she could get a win this year even, and that would be awesome. Like it's probably unlikely, but yeah, I think moving forward, like Nurys very easily could get a win in the next few years.
Is Nurys your Valentine? Natalie wants to know.
That's Horacio's Valentine, so not gonna make her mine.
So do we have an MVP this episode?
I mean, like obviously, like physically, like Emmanuel dominated. But like I don't know. For me, like
Corey.
Yeah, Corey like being the one to like call Jay out and end his game. It's like MVP worthy for sure. Obviously, he didn't do great in like the competition before, but again, like I really don't care if they get an extra 16K or not. So, yeah, like him like protecting the women, like not willing to go against Nurys, and then being the one to like take out the main villain of the season, I think warrants MVP.
Matthew, you've been asked to do something.
Yeah, I'm loving Corey. I hope he's on season 40.
He picked it up with that move with Jay.
Definitely. I also just think like Corey is like literally like the perfect person to cast on a season like 40 because like obviously like he represents like so many different groups, like LGBT, like a black male, and honestly like I think he might be the only like black LGBT man like that's in the like circuit right now on the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like obviously that, and then he also like represents like dating shows, which like typically like don't do well. And I know he's on like a gimmicky dating show, but I do think like he represents a lot of groups, and he like brings drama. He's like good physically, so I think like he is like someone I would like to see with like better competition, and just see how like his game would be if he would like buck up to like the big dogs. I don't know if it's like necessarily like super likely,
I don't think he'll talk about it before preseason, but during the game he gets real soft. But he picked it up this episode, so I'll stand him for a bit. So Wibble Gobble says Corey's the only player that they've seen with actual growth from the season other than Nurys. I'd have to agree.
Yeah, like honestly, if you took away the first 5 episodes of Corey, like I think like the fan base in general would be like very much rooting for him alongside Nurys.
Except when he convinced Colleen just to stick with the group. Come on.
I thought that was a good move for him though.
I know, but like I just would want to see him shake things up or do something else.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been very impressed like in the last like after the whole Melissa and Big T thing, which obviously was a really bad look. And I think he would acknowledge that too. I do think like Corey has been like very impressive, like all across the board. So like, I know it's hard to like look past like 6 weeks of him being like a complete like dickhead, but I'm trying to do that. And like, I've been definitely impressed.
Okay. Well, LVP is Berna and Colleen. They can share that trophy. Anything else you want to say for the beginning of this final? And what, Matthew? We did it. Like we have one more episode left. That's insane.
Well, we got a 2-part reunion as well. So, honestly, I'm more excited for the reunion than I am for the final, because the reunion, like we're gonna get like some closure with like the Olivia and Nurys of it all. The like I guess Horacio won't be there, but we'll get like Melissa and Big T back, and like how are they going to confront Corey and Berna? I think the reunion will be very fun, and then next week, like we'll see, like we'll see how it goes. I'm not like super invested in next week's episode, but I am very much invested in reunion and when we're going to get this trailer for All Stars 4, which should be coming soon. Because apparently All Stars 4 is scheduled to start March 18th.
Okay, I heard that as well, but I'm like, I don't know.
And if that's the case, like we're going to need a trailer, and we're going to need like cast photos like any day now, right?
That's fun. Cast photo is fun. Google Gabble says, great podcast, guys. Can't wait for the finale. Well, can't wait to talk about it, because that usually is my favorite part of these episodes, is talking about it with you. So thanks, Matthew.
Yeah, I think like at least next week, like we'll be able to like look back on the season a little bit better. And it's like, all right, well, this person won, and like what was their story? I think that's like a little more interesting than just like, all right, we got the J going home, which was nice here. But other than that, we didn't like get a lot out of the first part.
So Fernando wants to know if we think that we'll get the All-Stars 4 trailer during the reunion, since Cara and Laurel were there.
Maybe part 1 of the reunion, because that would give us like 2 full weeks or 3 full weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. So it's possible. I would just think like if they want to hype it up and like get people to subscribe to Paramount Plus and like get like the cast photos and stuff out, like don't they want to give like more warning than just 2 weeks?
Well, maybe like they'll do like one of those like fake trailers. Maybe they'll just do like
a promo thing,
like the date announced, whatever, and then like actually show like the first promo or first trailer in the reunion.
Yeah, I heard Anissa was on Challenge Mania last week, and she's doing the podcast for All Stars 4, and I guess she's already filmed like the first few episodes, and she was saying like, yeah, I watched the premiere of All Stars 4, and it's like everything, it's like worth the wait. It's like everything you guys would want it to be. And like she's like hyping it up, saying like this is going to be like one of the best seasons. And it seems like based on the cast, like this could get very messy and
very messy. And like all the All-Stars seasons have been pretty solid. So
yeah, they've been like solid, like at worst solid, and at best like very good. And I think like this one, just like looking at the cast, it's like, you know, what Cara is coming in like guns blazing, Laurel and Cara, like Cam is going to be there, like Tony's back, like these people are like they're not like going to play like a pussy game like half the people on 39 are playing. So
yeah, they're not going to care, right? They think they can live without MTV. Or
yeah,
MTV.
like Veronica's there, Rachel and Veronica back on the screen together. It's like the women on this, like Nicole back with Laurel is going to be crazy. Yeah, I'm super hyped. So honestly, once the trailer and stuff comes out and the cast pictures, like we'll have to like hop on and do our draft, because we're probably not going to have much of a turnaround until it actually starts. But yeah, we'll definitely talk
as soon
more
as they get the cast pictures, we'll do the draft.
Yeah. I'm hoping that it comes like within the next. I hope it comes after the finale next week, and we don't have to wait like 2-3 weeks for it. That's my hope, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, so I've only seen one like preview for BB Can, but I couldn't really tell what was going on. Is it All Stars? Is it Stars? Like I can't remember what it was. An interesting like pre-promo, so I don't know. I would say no though to live feeds. I don't believe that those will ever be coming back in Canada from what I've been told. So that's a no over here. All right. Thank you so much, everybody here in the chat. You guys are awesome. Always being loyal and coming out and hanging out with us on late nights on a Wednesday. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Hope you're sharing it with someone that you love, and that love can be Nurys and it can be the challenge. So thanks so much, everybody. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video. What do we want to know? Is Casey pregnant, or was that a troll? What was that? Did you see that?
I have no idea.
Oh,
no, I haven't seen anything.
I saw that somewhere, and I don't know if it was like a real thing or if it was just like some. I didn't investigate yet, so I was hoping that you would have known or seen it. So I don't know. Well, anyways, what do we want to know?
I guess like we got one episode left. Let us know. Who's gonna win?
Ideal first, second, and third. So who's taking home some money? Who do you want to win first, second, and third? And then also, who do you think is going to win? No spoilers if you know any, but just from what you've seen so far, who do you believe is going to win? So want and believe. Let's hear who's getting some money this season. I want to know. We'll talk about this in the comments below. Thanks, everybody.